Welcome back. So this lesson we're going to do something kind of crazy. What I want to do is kind of figure out how I can actually go with the actual user right here using the ID. I want to go and collect the real customer from the REST API. So think of it this way. The cool thing is that right now when I press this guy, I know who he is. So I could kind of pass him from this place to the specific details page, right? I could just pass him like we did earlier where we send in the customer from the outside as an input. I don't want to do that because if we do this instead where we say we can just use the URL directly, then we would be able to kind of move to a new area and just enter and boom, we would go in there directly. No matter where we came from, it doesn't matter if you're on the list page, you can always just go to a specific customer, just pasting in the actual URL that you want to go to. That's what we want, right? So we need to somehow be able to grab data from the parameters up here. We need to grab this ID right here. Now we already prepared the system so we can grab it. We just need to now figure out how to actually get the data in our details view. And this is complex. It is. Seriously, I'm sorry, but it is. It's really complex. But I'll try and break this down to you in a couple of videos to make you understand it. And if you don't understand, I'm kind of like, yeah, it's okay not to understand it until you really work with Angular. For now, just kind of know how to use it. And then later, as you work with it, hopefully you'll start understanding why it's doing the things it's doing. Let's jump back to the code here and have a look at what I'm talking about. If you go to your app module and you find your route, you'll notice that the app routes right here, you have a path that says I need to go to customer with an ID in the end, right? And then you'll go to the customer details component. So we already kind of specified that this field after the customer up here, right here after the customer, that's kind of the colon ID, right? So that's going to be converted into an ID, right? So that's what that means. And let's just put in 1 again. There we go. Now that guy is going to be on the details page, a parameter called ID. Okay, let's try and jump back and have a look here again. You're saying the path of customer ends with an ID after the slash. So now I can grab that ID as a parameter inside the details component. But how do we do that? Well, let's jump into the details component actually. And now, as I said, I'm not going to use this as an input. So let's just get that out of the way. I want the customer to be pulled from actually the REST API directly. So I'll just clean up my code so there's no input in there anymore. The next thing I want to do is I need the service to start getting data from the outside, right, using my REST API. So I'll add the customer service right here, and let's just call it customer service. There we go, and customer service, there we go. So now we have the customer service available, but I need some other things. I need the router, because I'm going to work with routes here, right? I'm going to grab information from routes. So we're also going to need a router available here. So I'll say private, and I'll say router. And let's just call that the router. There we go. I need one more thing, and let me just go and grab that actually from the page to show you where I'm getting all this information from anyway, because I didn't figure it out, Angular figured it out, and I'm just using it, right? So jumping back to the page here, I'm going to look at the Angular IO page. I'm going to look at fundamentals. I'm going to look at routing and navigation. I'm going to scroll down to the center of the page, or you can just here find the link over here saying activated route in actions. And here's actually all the information we need. So the one I missed out was the activated route. We need that one as well. And then we need this switch map. So let's just grab that right here. Now, I will try and explain this to you in a couple of lessons because it's complex stuff. But let's just start by grabbing the switch map, putting it in here as one of our imports. And then let's put in the one I was missing, which was the private route, which is the activated route. So that's the route that's currently activated, right? So activated route. Now I know that this doesn't make a lot of sense yet. This is pretty much just preparing ourselves for actually doing this in the next lesson, where we'll kind of grab the customer from the REST API, put him in here and present him. So let's just wrap this up by actually trying to present the customer inside the HTML page. I'm going to do it very basic right now. I'm just going to actually add the customer right here as a simple object that we just present everything. So it's inside the customer detail component. I want to add just one more thing because, no, let's actually keep it like this. That'll be kind of a cliffhanger. Something will come here with pipes. See you in the next lesson.